morning, everyone, and welcome to the program conducted by Cooperative School of Law along with DLSA Idiki. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to welcome you all on this special day where we are celebrating November 9 as Legal Services Day. But this year's celebration is set in the time of COVID pandemic, and this year's legal services celebration will focus on a topic of contemporary significance called mediation in the pandemic era. Cooperative School of Law Tiruvara was established in the year 2013 as the first institution in the cooperative sector imparting legal education in the state of Kerala. Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita is our motto, and we strive towards achieving Dharma in all our endeavors. With the pioneering mission of George Sir, our manager and president of Tiruvara Taluk Educational Cooperative Society, and Dr. Jairam E.R., our principal, the law school is consistently bagging NG University ranks for the past 3 years. Now, coming to the association with DLSA. DLSA Idiki has a close association with Cooperative School of Law. DLSA and Cooperative School of Law created revolution in the legal services by organizing a one-day legal aid program in the year 2018. During the past 3 years, DLSA and Cooperative School of Law had joined hands in addressing several socio-legal issues like anti-narcotic awareness, legal awareness class for school students in Idiki, and many others. We are always happy to associate with a proactive legal services organization like DLSA in all our future endeavors. Before starting the program, let us seek the blessings of the Almighty by observing a 30 seconds silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. We are very lucky to have with us a company of dignitaries who are renowned for their dedication and selfless service towards the implementation of legal services as a means of justice delivery. On behalf of Cooperative School of Law and DLSA Idiki, I welcome all the honorable dignitaries to this grand function. Before moving on with the program, let me first welcome our guests of honor and guests of this program. We are truly blessed with the presence and participation as our guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice Pius C. Kuriakose, former Chief Justice, High Court of Sikkim and Lokayukta, Kerala. I heartily welcome you, sir, to this function. We are extremely happy to be associated with DLSA Idiki and Sri Muhammad Wasim, Principal District and Sessions Judge, Tiruvara, and Chairman DLSA Idiki is no stranger to us. We are always happy to welcome you, sir, to our campus. Also, we have with us Sri Nisar Ahmed KT, District Judge and Member Secretary KELSA to deliver the Legal Services Day message. I welcome you, sir, to our campus. Finally, we have our friend Sri Dinesh M. Pilla, sir, Sub-Judge, Secretary DLSA Idiki, who is known to all CSL members because of his close association with our campus. No need of a formal welcome, sir. You are always welcome in Cooperative School of Law. Thank you, sir. We are strongly supported by the strength of an efficient triad of principal, manager, and administrator. I welcome our dear principal, Dr. Jairam E.R., our own manager, PJ George, sir, and our administrator and IQAC coordinator, Dr. E. Georgie Nirnal, to this program. I welcome you all, sir. Next, I welcome all the staff members, students, and lawyers throughout the state of Kerala and in India for this grand program. I welcome you all. Now we are moving towards the program. I now invite Sri Dinesh M. Pillai, Sub-Judge, Secretary, DLSA Idiki, for the welcome address. I welcome you, sir.
Most respected His Lordship Justice Pius Kuriakose sir, respected District Judge Sri Wasim sir, Member Secretary of KELSA Sri Nisar Ahmed sir, the venerable Principal of the College Dr. Jairam, other dignitaries who are participating, attending and viewing this program. Today we are celebrating the Legal Services Day in association with the Cooperative Law College, Tiruvara, and we all are aware that the Legal Services Authority Act had been enacted in the year 1987 to comply the mandate of Article 39A of the Constitution, which provides for equal justice and free legal aid. Even though the Act was enacted in the year 1987, that has come into force after long 80 years in the year 1995 on November 9th. It is why we are celebrating November 5 as the Legal Services Day. As we all know, legal services in this country with the ultimate goal of access to justice to all is getting more and more significance in the present social, economical and political scenario of this country. The downtrodden sectors of this country are still out of reach of the hands of the law and justice, and in this area, the legal service authorities are striving hard to reach out to those citizens by legal aid, by spreading legal awareness and settling the cases through lok adalats. Legal services authorities are also conducting various outreach programs under the different schemes enunciated by the National Legal Service Authority and state legal services authorities. All these activities are bringing tremendous changes in the life of the common citizens as far as their legal rights based on social justice is concerned. Idukki District Legal Services Authority is also in the forefront of the imparting of legal services to the poor and needy in the districts, which are larger in number when majority of the large number of population in the district are scheduled tribes and also belonging to poor sector. The projects of DLS Idukki like widow-friendly district, which is intended to alleviate poverty among widows in the district, Gotra Parliament, which is intended to uplift the conditions of the scheduled tribes in the district, and Gandhi Smriti at 150, which is intended to create awareness among the students in the district regarding the service and the glory of the father of our nation in the 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, and Vadikan, which is intended to alleviate the road traffic accidents in and around the Tiruvalla town. All these projects have gained the appreciation and recognition of the stakeholders as well as the general public. And in all these projects, the supports and cooperation we are receiving from the law colleges. There are 2 law colleges in Tiruvalla, and the support we are gaining from the law college authorities and students are very great and appreciable. And the very fact that this year's Legal Services Day celebration is being conducted by the DLSA in association with the Cooperative School of Law Tiruvalla is a testimonial for the such fact. Dr. Jairam, the principal of the Cooperative School of Law Tiruvalla, and his team has approached the DLSA Idukki with the idea, and we are only happy to accept the proposition. Today's function is presided over by Dr. Jairam, the principal of Cooperative School of Law Tiruvalla. And the success of this program is due to the hard work of Dr. Jairam and his team. And on behalf of DLS Idukki, I wholeheartedly welcome Sir Dr. Jairam to this great function. While deciding to celebrate this year's Legal Service Day in befitting manner, we had the desire to have our chairman of KELSA, Honorable Justice C.T. Ravikumar Sir, to inaugurate the function. Irrespective of his hectic schedule, His Lordship Justice C.T. Ravikumar Sir, Executive Chairman of KELSA, had kindly consented to inaugurate the function. Till the evening of the last day, yesterday, His Lordship was ready to participate in the function, but unfortunately, due to some unforeseen incident and for some personal reasons, His Lordship expressed some difficulty to attend the function. And even in his absence, I am sure that the support and blessings of His Lordship is always with us. And on behalf of DLSA Idukki and Cooperative School of Law, Thodupuzha. I wholeheartedly welcome the blessings of our beloved Justice Sri C.T. Devkumar for this function. In the absence of Justice C.T. Devkumar sir, this program is going to be inaugurated by our beloved respected District Judge Sri Vasim sir. As the chairman of the District Legal Service Authority, the support and guidance from the part of the district judges in abundance, and under his able leadership, this Legal Service Authority is getting heights in its activities and appreciation from all corners. And on behalf of the DLSA and Cooperative School of Law, sir, I wholeheartedly welcome beloved Vasim sir to this August function. While planning for the program and thinking of an eminent personality to have as the guest of honor and to present the subject of the day, the first name which came into our mind was the name of our respected, beloved Pius Kuriakose sir, a versatile personality and a pride for the entire judicial fraternity. His career as lawyer, as the judge of the Kerala High Court, Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court, the chairman of Mediation and Conciliation Center, and also as the Law Ayuktha of the state is commendable, and we are really proud of you, sir. Being an orator and the propounder of various initiatives, Pius sir has contributed a lot in the field of legal education and also in the field of alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Pius sir, as the guest of honor of this program, will deliver his keynote address on the subject significance of mediation in the era of pandemic. I am sure that his talk will be really an asset in the academic session of the subject and helpful for the lawyers and law students in the country. On behalf of the DLSA Idukki and the Cooperative School of Law, Thodupuzha sir, I wholeheartedly welcome Sri Pius Kuriakose sir, Justice Pius Kuriakose sir, for this August function. Sir, welcome, sir. The message of Legal Services Day will be delivered by Sri Nisar Ahmed, District Judge and Member Secretary of Kerala State Legal Service Authority. For the successful conduct of the activities of DLSA Idukki, we are really indebted to the Member Secretary and the District Judge Sri Nisar Ahmed sir. On behalf of DLSA Idukki and Cooperative School of Law, Thodupuzha, I wholeheartedly welcome Sri Nasir sir for this function. Welcome, sir. This program is felicitated by Sri George, the President of the Taluk Cooperative Education Society, which is running this law college. On behalf of the DLSA Idukki and the School of Law, I wholeheartedly welcome Sir George sir to this function. Sir, welcome. This program, as you are well aware, we are conducting in a different manner in the light of lockdown due to COVID-19 in online platform. For the last some weeks, the authorities and the staff of the Cooperative Law College and the DLSA are working hard to make this program a success with the maximum participation of the stakeholders. Apart from the Google Meet, we are live streaming the program, and we are expecting thousands of persons in and around our country to participate and attend this program. The hard work of the staff, teachers of Cooperative School of Law and DLSA Idukki are worth comment, and I wholeheartedly welcome all the staff of the Cooperative School of Law and the DLSA to this function. This program is viewed by or attended by a large number of people. There are lawyers, law students, their families, paralegal volunteers, and common people. All are watching this program, and on behalf of the Idukki District Legal Service Authority and Cooperative School of Law, I welcome all the persons to this August function. Once again, I welcome all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sri Dinesh Ampillai sir, Subjudge and Secretary, DLSA Idukki. Now we are going to the presidential address, and in order to deliver the presidential address, I invite Principal of Cooperative School of Law, Tirupura, Dr. Jairam E.R. sir. I welcome you, sir.
Guest of honor for the day, Honorable Mr. Justice Pius Kyriakos sir. Chief guest of today's function, Sri Mohammed Wasim, Honorable District and Sessions Judge, Chairman, District Legal Services Authority, Idukki. Sri Nizar Ahmed, Honorable District Judge and Member Secretary of Kerala State Legal Service Authority. Sri P.J. George, President of Cooperative School of Law, Tirupura. Sri Dinesh Ampillai, Honorable Subjudge, Secretary, District Legal Service Authority, Idukki. Distinguished members from the bar and members from the judiciary, faculty members, researchers, law students, and all those who are watching the program. Wish you all a pleasant morning. Today is an auspicious day for both District Legal Service Authority and Cooperative School of Law. We have gathered here to celebrate the Legal Services Day to commemorate the establishment of Legal Service Authorities Act in Act 1987. Now, this act was originally intended to provide free legal aid and legal services to the weaker section of the society. As the constitutional mandates, free legal service and legal aid is the primary objective of this District Legal Service Authority, not just District Legal Service, the entire system of Legal Service Authority, starting from national to state, district, and to the Taluk Legal Service Authority. DLSA in particular, as Idukki has been consistently and continuously involving in a lot of outreach programs and social desirable activities to address the need of the poor and needy, organizing regular log adalats at the courts. Along with that, the outreach programs organized at various parts of the district has been doing a commendable job throughout since its inception itself. Now, Justice Mohammed Wasim, the chairman of District Legal Service Authority, and Sri Dinesh Ampillai, the secretary of District Legal Service Authority, has been coordinating the activities of District Legal Service Authority in an exemplary manner. They have reached in spite of all the schedules, as the principal district and sessions judge, he has spared and it is time to devote a substantial time for the activities of the District Legal Service Authority. Now, it is clear from the fact that they have reached each and every corner of the Idukki district. It is also pertinent to note that the contribution the District Legal Service Authority is making towards as an alternative dispute resolution mechanism is something beyond comparison, because the people who cannot afford or access to justice is really struggling at various phases. Like, because this has come to the notice of Cooperative School of Law while we were associating with ourselves with District Legal Service Authority while organizing various legal aid programs and legal literacy camps. Now, Cooperative School of Law is in fact the first cooperative law school in cooperative sector with a fully ICT enabled campus. Since its inception in 2013, the college has been maintaining an exemplary academic records with all top university ranks. But at the same time, we were committed to hold on to our motto, Dharma Rakshati Rakshita. And as a result, we've always used to involve in a lot of extension activities like legal aid, legal literacy camps, and organizing other workshops. And also we used to have a close coordination with the District Legal Service Authority in organizing various programs, and the students used to volunteer for the activities organized by District Legal Service at various stages. Now, regarding the activities of District Legal Service Authority, the students are really one particular group which used to get a lot of benefit out of it, because they are they used to know perhaps it is one of the best learning experience for a law student, because they are able to understand the grassroots level problems of the society, because many of them hail from elite family background. By involving themselves in the activities of legal aid and other things, they'll get to know the realities of life and realities of the actual realities of society. Now, having said that, I do not want to take much of the time, because we have to devote our time for the inaugural address and other, especially the keynote address of our distinguished Pius Kyriakos sir. I'm really glad that sir has consented to deliver the keynote address in this program. As we all know, Pius Kyriakos sir is former Chief Justice of Sikkim and the former Lokayuktha of Kerala. I had an opportunity to interact with him during my tenure as a principal at Mar Gregorius College of Law, Trivandrum, where while he was working as the Lokayuktha of Kerala, and I was so blessed that his presence. I had invited him to our campus, and he had spent a lot of time interacting with those students. And it's only then I realized that he has a lot of academic interest, and he, in fact, is a true academician in spite of being an enormous experience in judiciary as a jurist. Now, it is really glad to know that Sir has been associated with judicial training programs like Sikkim Judicial Service Academy. Has been appointed as first emeritus president of Sikkim Legal Service Authority. Sikkim Legal Service Academy. Similarly, he is also heading the Kerala. He in fact had headed the Kerala Legal Judicial Academy as well. Sikkim Judicial Academy, of course, honored him with the emeritus president role, because he was the key person who was involved in establishing the Sikkim Judicial Academy. Now, we are also really happy that Sir is involved in a lot of academic activities, and I take this opportunity to disclose one of the happiest moment that we all are cherishing as of now, that Sir in fact has agreed to be one of our most distinguished visiting faculty of the campus. I take this opportunity to welcome you to this grand ceremony, along with your presence to our campus. So I'm so glad and privileged that SIRS Association is definitely going to transform our campus into one of the top law schools, not just in the state, but an institution of national significance. So probably his contribution is one that is going to transform Cooperative School of Law into something better. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, Nisar Ahmed sir is here. Sir has been has been involved in the activities of KELSA, and he has also painstakingly organized the inaugural program where Justice C.T. Ravikumar sir was supposed to be with us, but unfortunately, due to certain unforeseen circumstances, he was unable to join us. But anyway, I would like to thank Zara Ahmed sir for coordinating all the activities and arranging for the smooth function of the program. I also would like to thank our President George sir, whose institutional outlook and vision has helped us reach this far. And also Dinesh Impilla sir, of course, I would like to take that name in particular because we were so closely coordinating the activities of DLSA along with CSL, Cooperative School of Law, along with DLSA in various fields of the activities of District Legal Service Authority. And of course, the presence of Wasim sir, of course, is worth mentioning because he was like a mentor for Cooperative School of Law. He used to be present in our campus for every serious activities we were involved in, and his blessings and support always helped and inspired our students to involve ourselves in outreach program. Of course, Cooperative School of Law is planning a lot of outreach programs, including village adoption schemes as a part of its NAC accreditation process, which we have already discussed with District Legal Service Authority, because District Legal Service Authority is one platform through which our students will definitely and will be able to benefit the actual problems and realities of the state of affairs that exists today. So with that note, I would like to conclude and thank you everyone for being here, especially Payas Kyriakos sir, Wasim sir, Nizar Ahmed sir, Dinesh Impilla sir. Thank you so much, and looking forward to have a healthy relation in future as well. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Jairam sir, for those warm words. Now, we are all waiting for the official inauguration of our program of the Legal Services Day celebration. So let me invite, and I'm very honored to invite, our dear Principal District and Sessions Judge, Todupuzha, and Chairman DLSA Idukki, Sri Mohammad Wasim, for delivering the inaugural address and for officially inaugurating the Legal Services Day celebration. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Mr. Justice Payas Kyriakos sir, former Chief Justice, High Court of Sikkim and Lokayukta, Dr. Jairam ER, Principal Cooperative School of Law, Nisar Ahmed, Member Secretary, KELSA, PJ George, President, Todupuzha Taluk Education Cooperative Society, Dinesh Impilla, Secretary, DLSA Idukki. My dear law students, brothers and sisters, I am extremely happy to be among with the law students of Cooperative Law School, Todupuzha, in observing Legal Services Day. When I was a student of Law College, there were only 3 colleges, and that too in government sector, and 1 private college in Thiruvananthapuram. Now there are numerous colleges and many students are now joining the legal education, and the standard of legal education is also on a higher side. I learned from this meeting that your college is the first in the state to be opened in the cooperative sector. And I learned that it is one of the pioneer institutions imparting legal education in Kerala. As you all know, Legal Service Authority Act came into force on 9th October 1995. Since then, we are observing November 9th as the Legal Services Day. Day highlights rights of citizens of India and need to spread awareness of law to ensure justice for all. This year, we are focusing on problems related to domestic violence. But in these sessions, we are dealing with a contemporary and very relevant issue with the special circumstance related with the pandemic and the mediation. The object of Legal Services Authority Act is threefold. 1, giving legal aid to all. 3, 2, spreading of legal awareness. And finally, conducting Lok Adalats. Due to the relentless and concerted effort made by NALSA and KELSA, we have been able to make tremendous inroads into the activities all over India and especially in Kerala. In Kerala, KELSA has become really a people's movement. Legal aid is provided to all. Legal aid is provided to all who cannot afford money to knock the doors of justice. We are receiving every day many applications, and applications are dealt with in a very timely and efficient manner so that no one is denied justice. The next activity is conducting of Lok Adalats. Initially, Lok Adalats were conducted, received only a few attention, but later on it picked up and it is now the most accepted means of ADR. Not only the number of cases settled that gives us satisfaction. People were able to settle their dispute completely and with the satisfaction and finality. I want to share two of my experience regarding Lok Adalat and how the cases were settled and how it gives satisfaction to the people with the law students. A trust was formed to start a medical college. A hospital was constructed. When the starting of the medical college was in progress, discord started emerging in the trust committee and dispute arose. It led to a series of civil and criminal cases. The trust could not function properly. The hospital stopped functioning. It resulted in salaries could not be paid to doctors, nurses, and other staffs. Bills were pending for the persons who supplied medicine and other surgical equipments. Bills were due to supply of construction materials. Everything was in disorder. When one of the cases came before me, I suggested reference to Lok Adalat. Parties agreed. A series of meetings were conducted. Every day, 50 to 100 persons concerned with the running of the college came to us. After a few days sitting, we were able to transfer the trust to another set of people who were able to run the same ably. All bills were settled. Doctors were given a salary. Nurses were given salary. Contractors who supplied building materials were satisfied. And pharmaceutical companies were given the money due to them. I still remember a blind person lastly coming forward with a bill for the supply of 100 bottles of phenol to the hospital. For years together, he was not getting the bill. We settled the bill and gave the full amount on the spot. I could see the satisfaction in his eye. I am sure that without Lok Adalat, this matter could have taken years together. And that too, I don't think we'll be able to deliver justice more effectively. In the second case, a colony in which 15 families were residing were ordered to be evicted. It finally came before me for delivery. Every legal remedy was exhausted. What remains is only delivery. Delivery of the property means 15 persons will be evicted from their homes, which they were living for years together. We suggested a reference to the Lok Adalat. Decree holder also agreed. Decree holder agreed to allow 15 persons to continue in that property, provided half of the property is given to them. Parties agreed, and 15 families were happy, and they were not uprooted from their houses, and it gave us big satisfaction. It is a case where legal remedy was exhausted and we could deliver justice to the satisfaction of the people. I am not elaborating much on this topic. As law students, you should get associated with the activities of DLSA. It gives an opportunity to know the ground realities of society and the problems of the people. Today, we have an important topic for discussion. We are fortunate to have Justice Pius Sir with us. This is a rare opportunity to listen to His Lordship. With these few words, I formally inaugurate this function. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Sri Wasim sir. Now the program has officially been inaugurated. Now the moment we are all waiting for. We are now moving to the keynote address. But before I invite our guest of honor, let me share to each and everyone a few glimpses of the contribution made by our guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice Pius C. Kuriakose. Justice Pius C. Kuriakose enrolled as a lawyer on 9th of November 1974. Today, he is completing 46 years of partnership in the legal fraternity. As a student of Government Law College, he had a brilliant academic career, having second class and second rank for his first year LLB and first class and fourth rank for his final year LLB. He became very successful as a lawyer and had considerable volume of work both on the trial side as well as in the High Court. He had more than 50 disciples in his 27-year-long career as a lawyer. One of his disciples is a Chief Justice and another a district judge. Good number of them are leading practitioners of law. When the Kerala Mediation Center was established, he had the privilege of being its first president. Those were the times when the advocacy community were having reservations about the ADR mediation. But with the able support of Justice AKB and Justice Sirijagan, who were also in the Board of Governors in the Mediation Center, traveled the length and breadth of the state, propagating the message of mediation and convincing the lawyers that mediation was not going to affect their professional prospects. After his retirement as Chief Justice from Sikkim, for 5 years, he was the state Lokayukta. And thereafter, he founded Academy for Continuing Legal Education by the name Panampalli Academy for Continuing Legal Education. And with the association of Kerala and State Legal Services Authority and the district judiciaries in the state, he conducted the academic quiz competitions for the benefit of young lawyers. He founded the Sikkim Judicial Academy, and currently he is associating with the Kerala Judicial Academy and the Sikkim Judicial Academy as their visiting faculty. He is also a visiting faculty in National University of Advanced Legal Studies. So, I'm very honored and I'm very happy and pleased to invite on behalf of DLSA Cooperative School of Law, Tirupura, Honorable Mr. Justice Pius C. Kuriakose, former Chief Justice Sikkim High Court, Lokayukta Kerala, to deliver the keynote address. I welcome you, sir.
The chief guest of the day, Honorable Mr. Muhammad Wasim, Principal District Judge and Chairman, DLSA Thodupuzha, Dr. Jairam, Principal, who is presiding over the function, Mr. Dinesham Pillai, Secretary, DLSA. I'm sorry, I should have addressed Nisar. Nisar is the Nisar, Member Secretary, Kerala State Legal Services Authority. Mr. George, Manager of the society which owns the Cooperative School of Law, judicial officers, advocate friends, teachers and students of Cooperative School of Law, and everybody else who is attending this function. I must at the very outset thank Dr. Jairam and the management of Cooperative School of Law for having given me an opportunity to be with you on this most important day in my professional life, because this is my 46th anniversary as mentioned by the brilliant Master of Ceremony. I thank the brilliant Master of Ceremony also for all the nice things that he spoke about me. But I think he committed a mistake, because something of which I am always proud is my academic record. I was the only first class holder and the second hand holder in our college, because at a time when the university, there was only one university, the Kerala University.
Yes, sir.
So that is my achievement. And then, of course, my professional track and all. My disciples, I am proud of my disciples. Then today, the 9th of November is being observed as the National Legal Services Day by NALSA, the state legal services authorities all over the country, and by the subordinate bodies under the subordinate bodies under NALSA under the scheme of the Legal Services Act. The present program itself is, everybody knows, is being arranged by DLSA Thodupuzha in association with Cooperative School of Law in connection with Legal Services Day. Justice is a very important moral and political concept. Aristotle says that justice consists of what is lawful and fair, with fairness involving equitable distributions and correction of what is inequitable. It is said that there are 4 different types of justice. 1, distributive justice, meaning determining who gets what. 2, procedural justice, determining how fairly people are treated. Then 3rd, retributive justice, based on the punishment for wrongdoing. And 4th, the restorative justice, which tries to restore relationships to rightness. It is for rendering justice and for justicing in accordance with the law that the court system was established. And courts came to be identified with the concept of justice. But then, in countries like ours, which are very, very populous, on account of what has come to be known as docket, the problem of docket explosion, our courts found it extremely difficult to render speedy justice to the people. That's why the lawmakers thought in terms of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. To begin with, we had just one alternative dispute resolution mechanism, that was arbitration. Of course, coupled with that, conciliation also. In fact, Section 89 of the Code of Civil Procedure was amended to its present form by Amendment Act 46, CPC Amendment Act 46 of 1999. It was by this amendment that new alternative dispute resolution mechanisms such as judicial settlement through Lok Adalat, including through Lok Adalat, and mediation were introduced. In fact, under 89, Section 89, courts have been enabled to refer matters pending before them to any one of the ADR modes mentioned in Section 89. I am today concerned because general matters Mr. Wasim mentioned. I am today concerned with the ADR of mediation. What is mediation? Mediation is an exercise consisting of negotiation between the disputing parties, assisted by a neutral third party by name mediator. Mediation is defined, I quote, the intervention into a dispute or negotiation by an acceptable, impartial, and neutral third party who has no decision-making power to assist the disputing parties in voluntarily reaching their own agreements mutually, unquote. For giving momentum to this particular mode of ADR, I mean mediation, the Honorable Mr. Justice R.C. Lahoti, the then Chief Justice of India, constituted a committee known as Mediation and Conciliation Project Committee, in short MCPC, on the 9th of May 2005. Justice N. Santosh Hegde, then a senior judge of the Supreme Court, was nominated as the chairman of MCPC. When Justice Hegde demitted office, Justice S.B. Sinha, another senior judge of the Supreme Court, was appointed as chairman of MCPC. The corresponding Kerala body corresponding to MCPC in our state is now known as KSMCC, Kerala State Mediation and Conciliation Center. But then earlier it was known as Kerala Mediation Center. Kerala Mediation Center. This has been conceived as a project for giving effect to Section 89 of the Code of Civil Procedure, which inter alia provides for mediation, conciliation, arbitration, and other dispute resolution mechanisms. As mentioned by the Master of Ceremony, I had the privilege of being nominated as the first president of the Kerala Mediation Center. This was during the time of Chief Justice S.R. Banurmat, hailing from Karnataka. You all know that the Bangalore Mediation Center is considered to be one of the best in the country, and Bangalore Mediation Center was established when our own Justice Sirek Joseph was the Chief Justice of Karnataka. Now in Kerala, after the MCPC initially gave training to 26 lawyers from the High Court, and with those 26 lawyers, the Kerala Mediation Center started its activities. I proudly recall that it was during my stint as president of the Kerala Mediation Center that the first ever colorful accreditation ceremony, in which the mediators were given their uniforms, their medals, it was conducted in one of the most colorful ceremonies witnessed by the Kerala High Court auditorium, attended by as many as 3 Supreme Court judges. And all the mediators of Kerala High Court were given their uniforms, badges, etc., etc. Now, after the Kerala Mediation Center was started, then district mediation centers were started one by one in different headquarters. In sub-centers also, mediation started in many of the sub-centers. But in 2013, the High Court Mediation Center and the Ernakulam District Mediation Center were integrated as the Ernakulam Mediation Center. As far as our state is concerned, we have a full-fledged mediation mechanism with a total number of 533 trained mediators on rolls. All these mediators have been given accreditation by MCPC. So we have 533 mediators. During the last 11 years, a large number of disputes have been settled through mediation. Even though numerically many more cases were settled by Lok Adalats, I can say that ordinarily, when it comes to settling really complicated matters, the really complicated contentious civil matters, the ideal mode of ADR to be followed is mediation. Of course, in instances like the two mentioned by Mr. Wasim, complicated cases could be settled and have been settled in mediation in Lok Adalat also. But then, making a general statement, I can say that the types of cases which are settled in Lok Adalat are mostly compensation cases, motor accident claims, land acquisition claims, then money claims of banks and such other things. But then occasionally complicated also. But then really complicated, hard-fought civil matters, that has been the experience of judges not only in Kerala, but all over India, that mediation is the ideal mechanism to be adopted. Now, in comparison to cases settled by courts through their court judgments, it can be seen that after contest, that is a case, the decision in a mediation, pursuant to a mediation, is final, but there is no finality in a matter disposed of by case, because it necessarily has to be in favor of one party and necessarily against the other party. The aggrieved party is likely to prefer an appeal, and even the appellate judgment may not be final. If other remedies are available, the aggrieved party may take recourse to such remedies also. Now, judges and lawyers all over the country are giving much importance to mediation as a very effective ADR mechanism in contentious matters. But then, as the Master of Ceremony said, in 2009, me and my brother judges in the Board of Governors of Kerala Mediation Center, Justice A.K. Bashir and Justice Siri Jagan, had considerable difficulty because we had resistance from lawyers in one or two centers in North Malabar. Go back slogans were shouted against us. We braved everything. And then now, all over Kerala, lawyers are for mediation, and lawyers are after judges to be given accreditation as training and accreditation as mediators. So in fact, we had told the lawyers in 1999 that no, mediation is not going to be against you. It's not going to affect your personal prospects. When contentious matters are settled through mediation, people will come. Many genuine causes are not coming to the courts, or because of the delay in getting disposal from courts. But once people understand, people realize that complicated matters are being settled, they will file cases which they would not have otherwise filed. And actually, in places like Trivandrum, what has happened is filing of civil cases has increased because when commensurate with the number of disposals from the mediation center. So what we told them in 1999 has come true. They are agreeing now. Now the Kerala High Court, I'm coming to the topic proper in the relevance of mediation in pandemic times. The Kerala High Court has framed rules for regulating the procedure of ADRs in 2008. These rules are called the Civil Procedure Alternative Dispute Resolution Rules. Altogether, there are 27 rules in these rules. What is important is that out of these 27 rules, rules 8 to 27, that is the bulk, about 19, are mediation rules. The Supreme Court has actually recommended, so this shows the importance. The Kerala High Court is attaching to mediation now. Now, Supreme Court has actually recommended to the government of India that a central act by name Indian Mediation Act be legislated. Indian Mediation Act recommended by the Supreme Court is yet to be enacted, and even now most of the mediations are now initiated by courts directly through references under Section 89. But in 2018, the Commercial Courts Act was amended and a concrete step for extending the benefits of mediation to commercial litigation was introduced. What I am given to understand is commercial litigation, in commercial litigations, before litigation starts, mediation is a must. Mediation is made compulsory. That is. So to that extent, Government of India also recognizes the importance of mediation. The outbreak of COVID-19, the pandemic. Because of the pandemic situation, we had to restrict many things, including physical mediation process. A very difficult situation is there in the justice delivery system. In the regular courts, only very urgent matters are being taken up. Trials and physical hearing, as usual, have been almost stopped. Even before the pandemic, people were waiting in the queue for resolution of their disputes. Any dispute is important for the concerned individuals, and they need urgent resolution for the issues involved in such disputes. But in pandemic situation, the courts are helpless. Even in matrimonial disputes, the people need speedy remedies. The courts are unable to render help. Physical mediation is not encouraged and is practically not possible during this period. In many areas, different methods are being followed to overcome this situation. In pandemic situation, court being compelled to function at a reduced capacity, social interactions and commercial transactions. Social interactions and commercial transactions have been forced to take place remotely when commercial enterprises are facing financial crunch. Resorting to mediation is a practical and most effective mechanism for resolving disputes. But the question is how? When you go through the mediation rules in these ADR rules of 2008, you will find that two aspects which are given primacy in mediation are: one, confidentiality, and two, privacy. There has been many discussions and debates in the matter of starting mediation through video conferencing. Many doubts arose whether mediation can be conducted without physical presence of the parties. How is a mediation possible when the mediator is sitting away from the parties and lawyers? Because the success of any mediation to a great extent depends on the experience and persuasive skills of the mediator concerned. Then how can confidentiality be maintained when mediation is conducted online? Then is it safe for the parties to disclose everything in a virtual mediation? If parties can come to mutually agreed terms, then how ultimately a valid settlement agreement can be executed as the parties are unable to come? These are the issues that cropped up. Now, while preparing for this program, I had discussions with two persons. One is Mr. K. Satyan, District Judge, who is presently Director of the Kerala Judicial Academy, but then Satyan was for a pretty long time the Director in charge of mediation activities in Kerala High Court. The other person I discussed was Mr. Joby Jacob, who is my own disciple and one of the accredited mediators in Kerala High Court, who has received a training not only from NCPC but also from the world famous Singapore Mediation Center. The attention of Mr. Satyan and Mr. Joby was invited by me to Rule 20 of the mediation rules in Civil Procedure ADR rules. Rule 20, the caption of Rule 20 is confidentiality, disclosure, and inadmissibility of information. That is Rule 21, mediator shall disclose shall not disclose confidential information, etc., etc. Rule 22, parties shall maintain confidentiality in respect to the events which transpire during mediation, etc., etc. Now, these rules have been introduced because, if in the event of the mediation becoming unsuccessful, one party should not be able to take advantage of the information which he got from the satisfied confidentiality. But then what disturbed my mind was clause 3 of Rule 20. Rule 20. This is clause 3 of Rule 20. 1 and 2 I will mention. There shall be no stenographic or video or audio or video recording of the mediation proceedings. So I was wondering as to how, in the teeth of this clear prohibition against stenographic, then audio and video recording of the mediation proceedings, how can mediation happen? Now, Mr. K. Satyan was very clear. He had no doubt in his mind. He said, so long as Rule 20 of the ADR rules remain as they are now, it is not possible to record the deliberations in a mediation. But he told me what is being done now is, that is now after the outbreak of the pandemic, is that only discussions are done online, and that once a settlement is found to be on the anvil, physical presence of the parties concerned is go down to the mediation center concerned, and then the concluding part is done physically. But Mr. Joby, my own disciple, who is having his own well-equipped mediation hall very near to the High Court, he is taking up private mediations. Now I will mention about that also. We don't allow, the High Court, the judiciary does not allow private mediations as such. But then we allow only Section 89 mediations, which are called court annexed mediation, pursuant to reference. But then private mediations, even the people refer to it, people and mediators are referring to them as private mediations. What these people are doing is not actually mediation, but actually they are doing conciliation. Conciliation, because for conciliation there is no such prohibition. Well, why, whatever name you call it, conciliation is being done. So he said, and then what Mr. Joby told me was that world over, Singapore Mediation Center, absolutely no problem. There is recording, everything is recorded, no problem. But so long as our rule is like this, for maintaining confidentiality, there shall not be no audio, video, or even stenographic record. That also should not be there. So that problem is there, he said. But here, conciliators, mediators can function as conciliators. They can do it even privately, even without reference from the court. But parties should come. That is, parties should come and agree. Now, coming to regular mediation itself, video conference mediation or virtual mediation in the place of face-to-face mediation is, according to me, most challenging. It requires preparation. Of course, there are platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, which allow a mediator to conduct discussions in group, and then also to have breakout rooms to conduct private sessions. One of the main advantages and ingredients of mediation, as I told you, is confidentiality. Whether confidentiality can be maintained is the crucial question. Rule 23 is there, and I told you what Mr. K. Satyan and Mr. Joby told me in the context of Rule 23. Now, of course, Mr. Satyan told me that nothing is being recorded, they are not allowing, okay. But then this aspect also we should keep in mind. Nowadays, the devices that are being used, all the devices are having inbuilt recording facility. So without the mediation center knowing it, without the other party knowing it, they can do that. But then that will be a breach of trust. That will be a breach of trust. Let us hope that our mediators who are given accreditation by the MCPC and the Kerala KSMCC will not betray the trust that was reposed in them by the parties. So what Mr. K. Satyan said is, actual recording is done only lastly. Now, there is no rule corresponding to Rule 23 in many of the rules followed in other states. Now, barring the apprehensions one may have in the context of the prohibition under Rule 23 and the insistence on keeping confidentiality, let us now have a look at the advantages from the point of view of parties. The advantages in virtual mediation are manifold. Parties can save money, travel expenses, and incidental expenses by opting for virtual mediation. Now, in commercial mediations, people like the chief executive officer or other top executives can participate by avoiding travel burden. Because nowadays, multinational companies, their chief executive officers will be in some foreign country. They can also participate in virtual mediations. Now, even in the case of other mediations, at times it will become necessary to involve another party. Now, such persons can be invited to mediation, whereby it is convenient for a mediator to reach settlement at the earliest. Now, a mediation process, has different stages. It starts with a joint session with all the parties participating at the same time. Thereafter, the mediator may choose private sessions with parties separately. In order to keep confidentiality, the mediator can ask the parties or one of the parties to leave the room, that is a virtual room, or he can even remove any party after telling him. Now, the parties and their lawyers can very well ensure that the presence of only their party is there in the room. Thereafter, the mediator persuades separately, and the parties ultimately come to a settlement with the intervention of the mediator. Now, unlike Lok Adalat, in fact, the decision is taken after discussions by the Adalat bench. Adalat bench, consists of a judicial officer, then a social worker, but here it is not the mediator who decides. Mediator only assists the parties in coming to the decisions. Decision is taken by the party, but the mediator's persuasive skills, his experience, everything counts. Now, the question is whether once such settlement is arrived at between the parties, then how can the settlement agreement be executed? In virtual mediation, an agreement can be. Now, I was told that the Kerala Mediation Center in the High Court, what they are doing is parties are got down and physical agreement is written. But then, even agreement can be in electronic form. In other words, under Section 65B1, the mediation agreement in the form of electronic records are admissible in evidence before a court of law. An electronic record contract is valid and enforceable under Section 10A of the IT Act also. So also the concern regarding the enforceability can be solved. Apart from that, digital signatures can also be used in appropriate cases. When parties have settled their disputes amicably, they will not go back from the agreed terms and conditions. When the mediation settlement agreement is produced before the court by the mediator or through the mediation center for approval in a case referred for mediation under Section 89, it becomes a decree only when the court approves the settlement which is produced along with the report of the mediator. Therefore, the party is getting an advantage, is getting one more opportunity to check the agreed terms before the court through their advocates. The above discussions were in the matter of mediations referred under Section 89, that is court annexed mediations. But as I have just mentioned that also, what many of the mediators who are having their own separate private mediation centers or mediation halls do is they take action under the Arbitration Conciliation Act 96. Under Section 73 of the Arbitration Conciliation Act, the parties reach on a settlement of the dispute in the presence of a conciliator. They can drop and sign a written agreement which shall be final and binding on the parties once the conciliator authenticates the settlement agreement. Now, regarding conciliation, I reiterate, Rule 23 is not an embargo. That is, even recording can be electronically. Section 74 of the Arbitration Conciliation Act says that settlement agreement thus arrived at shall have the same status as if it were an arbitral award under Section 30 of the Arbitration Conciliation Act. That such settlement agreement becomes an award which is executable before a court of law. Now, I have mentioned this because what is happening is by private mediation is not private mediation actually, it is actually conciliation. Either way, what is more important is that disputes could be settled other than through the conventional route. Conventional route, because of the long pendency, many of the genuine causes are not coming. The public is not, they have no diffidence to pay the lawyer, but they want justice early. Of course, the KELSA is doing a very splendid job. In fact, my association with KELSA, I may wind up by referring to that. By convention, the executive chairman of Kerala State Legal Service Authority is the senior most judge of the High Court concerned. So in our High Court, Justice Ravi Kumar is J1, the senior most after the. In fact, my turn came to become KELSA chairman. But then at that time, I was doing very well in the Kerala Judicial Academy. We were building up our new campus, which is a beauty. The new campus of Kerala Judicial Academy in Athani near the International Airport, Kochi. If anybody wants to come there, Mr. George or Jairam sir or anybody, I will see the beautiful campus. You should visit it. But then Abraham Matthew, who became judge, and K.M. Babu, who also became judge, they were my directors. They said, sir, don't go for KELSA. You continue with us. I was persuaded. But then, though I never became chairman of KELSA, I was member of KELSA in my capacity as the High Court Legal Services Committee chairman. And then, I know that I am maintaining such close relationship with KELSA even now. It is indicated by the fact that KELSA have recognized me as their associate in one of my prestigious programs, All Kerala Quiz Competition, which made waves through. But nothing, Mr. Nisar is there. Nisar, we are not able to do that because of the pandemic situation. Because quiz competition, we cannot have online. There will not be any confidentiality. So let us hope that the pandemic will go away soon and normal times will come. Even teaching, Professor Jairam, of course, if you want me to do it online, I will come and do it this way. But then, as an individual, I prefer coming to the campus physically and meeting your students and talking to them directly with all of you. So, thank you. Thank all of you once again, DLSA, for Jairam, then Mr. George, for the opportunity given to me on this National Legal Services Day, which is my personal and professional point of view also most important, because I have completed 46 years as a member of the legal fraternity. Thank you all for the patient listening.
Yeah, it's an honor that you spared your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Justice Pai C. Kuriakose, sir. And we hope to see you soon in our campus. We welcome you all with open arms. We are very happy. And thank you for tracing out the history, churning out the struggles, and highlighting the challenges of mediation in the era of pandemic. It was indeed a scholarly class. Thank you very much, Mr. Justice. Now, we are moving to the Legal Services Day message. Now, for delivering the Legal Services Day message, I heartily invite Sri Nisar Ahmed KT, District Judge and Member Secretary, Kerala State Legal Services Authority. I welcome you, sir, for the message delivery. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are. You are.
Honorable Mr. Justice Payasi Kuriakose, sir, former Chief Justice, Sikkim High Court and Lokayukta, Kerala. Muhammad Wasim, sir, District and Session Judge, Tottupuzha. Jairam Mia, Principal Cooperative School of Law, Tottupuzha. George Dinesh Ampillai, dear students, teachers, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the Legal Services Day, 9/11. It is the 25th year as completed, and it is the silver jubilee year also. As you all know, Article 39A of our Constitution directs the state to provide equal justice and free legal aid to the citizen. Based on that constitutional provision, the Legal Services Authorities Act was enacted in 1987. Though it was enacted in 1987, the Act came into force only in 9/11/1995. So, we are celebrating or observing 9/11 as Legal Services Day. Today, His Lordship Payas sir has covered all the details of regarding mediation, one of the best and efficient alternate dispute resolution mechanism, especially in family matters. And for the information of His Lordship, I would like to say that under the Commercial Courts Act, we have already implemented the pre-institution mediation, compulsory pre-institution mediation in Kerala. Among the existing mediators, we have selected 241 across the state, and we are giving training. And first session of training is already over for Trivandrum, Kollam, and Pathanamthitta district. Today, there is training program at 7 p.m. for the special mediators selected for institution mediation of the district Thrissur to Kasaragod. And His Lordship Justice Mushtaq sir is leading the class. And for further information, Lordship, the institutional mediation has already started. And day before yesterday, Kollam, there was a settlement. In 2 days back, there was a settlement in mediation one case, and only by single sitting. And the mediator has got 35,000. Very, very interesting. But as His Lordship has told in his speech, initially when this mediation process was introduced in Kerala, there was lots of objections, strikes, boycott, everything. Even now they are having some hesitation in some parts. But as said by His Lordship, mediation is not against lawyers, it is beneficial for the lawyers also. And today, my duty is to give a message in this Legal Services Day. As I already told you, that this 25 years has elapsed since the Act came into force. KELSA is doing all types of activities, mainly focusing on our duties, that is legal aid, free legal aid, legal awareness, and also conducting law adalat. Even during this pandemic period, we were doing micro-level adalats and could settle a good number of cases. We made an attempt to conduct an adalat in the e-platform, virtual mode, but because of some objection from the side of lawyers, we could not conduct it. But we were doing the other duties, providing legal aid by receiving legal aid applications through WhatsApp, email, etc. It need not be by physically, and also by conducting webinars, etc. online, we could make aware of the law in the public. And the latest programs of Legal Service Authority, that is the Early Access to Justice Protocol, the Lordship might have heard of that. KELSA was providing, or legal service was given to, or legal aid was given to a citizen only after arrest in criminal matters. Now we are providing legal aid even before the arrest, that is pre-arrest stage. This program was inaugurated on 12th March by His Lordship Justice Madhigopal, Chief Justice of High Court of Kerala. And now it is the DGP Kerala has issued a circular, and now it is running. For the last 2 months, we could provide pre-arrest stage legal aid to 130 citizens. So this is also running. Based on this program, whenever the police summon or take somebody to custody as a suspect, they have to intimate the DLSA. And the suspect has to be informed that he has got a right to get a lawyer. And we have already arranged or provided lawyers to every station, every police station. Under 482 police stations we have in Kerala. We have given all the details and phone number, etc. And the police has to inform the DLSA, and the lawyer concerned has to go to the police station and give the legal aid to the suspect. Once the person is arrested, then also he has to be given the legal aid from the DLSA. It's a very good mechanism. We can at least restrict or avoid custodial torture. And the main aspect of this is that police can question a suspect or accused only in the presence of the lawyer provided by the DLSA. It's a very efficient, a very good program introduced by NALSA. And only in Kerala and Madhya Pradesh have been so far introduced. Other states are on the process of implementation. And another aspect regarding the mediation, Lordship has discussed about the mediation. In Kerala, we have introduced another one, community mediation. His Lordship Justice Mushtaq and His Lordship Justice Rahim were the advocates of community mediation. That we have run in Kerala, we have started several community mediation centers, and this program has been copied by other states. It has been introduced in even Madhya Pradesh. So, my message in this day of legal services is, the message is to the students. I would request each student of law to be an ambassador of legal service institution and to provide basically legal aid to the needy, especially in the district of Thodupuzha, Idukki, and also in Wayanad. Mr. Dinay Pillai is there. We did a lot of work there. We have, for Lordship's information, because of the intervention of KELSA, the Honorable High Court has passed an order directing the state government to construct a bridge for the students of, that is crossing the Mramara in Vandiperiya. The bridge was washed away in 2018. The children were crossing the river by temporary wooden bridge in a dangerous manner. When we received the information, as directed by His Lordship Justice Rahim, we conducted a program that Adalat was conducted and have given a report. Based on that, the Honorable High Court has directed the government to construct the building within 18 months. They have already started the construction work, and in the meanwhile, they have already provided a temporary bridge. The nation will be covering all those details for you in the speech. And with these few words, I will conclude. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I now invite our manager and President of Thodupuzha Taluk Education Cooperative Society Limited, Dr. P.J. George, sir, for the felicitation address. I welcome you, sir.
President of today's function, Dr. E.R. Jairam, Principal CSL, respected Chief Guest of the function, Sri Muhammad Wasim, Honorable District and Sessions Judge and Chairman of DLSA. Guest of honor for the day, Honorable Justice Faiz Kuriakose, Sri Nisar Ahmad, Honorable District Judge and Member Secretary, KELSA, Honorable Sub-Judge and Secretary, DLSA, greetings of National Legal Service Day to everyone. I am really happy that the District Legal Services Authority, in association with the Cooperative School of Law, is celebrating a day which can be termed as a day of justice for the poor and the needy. The confluence of DLSA and Cooperative School of Law could materialize any major program like legal literacy and the legal aid program in the past. I am extremely proud that the college could partner with DLSA in many avenues of common interest. Our students were greatly benefited with the help we have received from DLSA in conducting legal aid programs and internship programs as part of their clinical legal education. We are looking forward to have a more cordial and enduring relations on a mutually beneficial ground. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Muhammad Wasim sir, Honorable District Judge, for his unconditional support to all the activities of the college. I also thank the Secretary of KELSA, Honorable District Judge Sri Nisar Ahmed sir, for the support he extended to the program. Sri Dinesh M. Pillai, Honorable Sub-Judge and the Secretary of DLSA, is a well-wisher of CSL, and I thank him for all the support in organizing this event. It gives me immense pleasure to express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Justice Pius C. Kyriakos for agreeing to be a part of our visiting faculty, and sir, your benevolent gesture is going to enhance the academic quality of the college by multifold. I wish the program all success and wish that the objective of celebrating the day can be accomplished by ensuring justice for all. Thank you all.
Thank you, dear Joseph. Now we are moving to the vote of thanks. And in order to deliver the vote of thanks, I invite, with all due pleasure, our administrator and our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Georgie Neernal, sir. I welcome you, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected President of the meeting, Dr. Jairam here, our Principal, Cooperative School of Law, and the key speaker of the day, Honorable Justice, Mr. Justice Pius C. Kyriakos, sir, beloved Chairman, DLSA Idiki, Sri Muhammad Wasim, sir, beloved District Judge and Member Secretary KELSA, Sri Nisar Ahmed, sir, beloved Dinesh Pillai, sir, Sub-Judge Secretary, DLSA, and President and the Manager of Cooperative School of Law, Sri PJ George, sir, respected participants of the meeting, all my faculty members and dear students. Today is a prestigious day for the Cooperative School of Law, as we are blessed with the esteemed presence of renowned personalities in judiciary and legal services. This institution is really privileged with its association to DLSA Idukki. As we know, every higher education institution is committed to extend a helping hand to the society at large. DLSA Idukki acts as our link of campus community fraternity. We are really grateful to KELSA and the District Legal Service Association of Idukki for our partnership with them to ensure justice, equal justice and free legal aid to the marginalized, downtrodden and the needy. The Cooperative School of Law is envisioned to impart quality education in legal studies. Though we are right now in our infancy stage, the institution has taken a leap forward by structuring its teaching learning process and curriculum delivery strictly as envisaged by NAC and RUSA. Presently, we are trying our level best to transform this institution into an institution with the potential for excellence in legal studies. With these few words, let me take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to the dignitaries of today. Dr. Jairam, who presided this function, is a good academician with the true spirit of teaching. And on behalf of us and all the participants here, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Our chief guest of the day, Honorable Justice Paisi Kuryakos, sir, in spite of the busy schedule, sir has given his consent to come over to this function. I take this opportunity to thank profusely Honorable Justice Mr. Paisi Kuryakos, sir, not only for being with us today and with the inspiring comments, but for having given consent to join with the Cecil fraternity also. Thank you, sir. Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Revkumar, Judge of High Court, Executive Chairman of KELSA, has given sir's consent to join with these legal day celebrations. Unfortunately, sir couldn't join with us due to some unexpected inconveniences. In his absence, I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Justice for the consent he has given and the generous attitude towards us. Honorable District Judge, despite the hectic duties of a district judge, Muhammad Wasim sir has joined with us and has delivered the inaugural address focusing the role of KELSA in ensuring equal justice and legal aid to the poor. I take this opportunity to express our deep sense of gratitude for your esteemed presence. Thank you, sir. Legal Service Day message was given by Nisar Ahmed, sir, Honorable District Judge and Member Secretary KELSA. Sir was on this occasion. Sir briefed the role of KELSA and its activities in Idukki. We are very grateful to you, sir, for your esteemed presence and the inspiring comments on free legal service to the society. I take this opportunity to express our deep sense of gratitude to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Honorable Sub-Judge and Secretary of DLSA, Dinesh Emple, sir, has been very keen to place the functions and services of KELSA on the right track. We were able to conduct legal aid camps several times with the strong support and valuable suggestions of Dinesh Emple, sir. We are very grateful, sir, for your association with us, and thank you, sir. Respected Manager Sri P.J. Jor, sir is a multifaceted personality who guide our institution very efficiently. On behalf of all of us, I extend my sincere thanks to our manager also. I take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to all the beloved advocates who have joined to this program, all the faculty members who have associated with us, and all the students participants in this meeting. Thank you all. I would also take this time to make a special comment on the earnest efforts made by some of our faculty members, especially by Sachin sir, Suresh sir, Sri sir, and other my dear colleagues. On behalf of all of us, I extend my sincere thanks to all of you. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you all. Now let us on rise for the national anthem.